I honestly thought it was my card. Sophie, my sister, let out this wild laugh after draining $11,000 from my account, just hours before she strutted off to buy herself a luxury car. Then Mom chimed in with a text, "Relax." She probably just clicked the wrong account, she wrote, like that explained everything. I kept my cool and replied, "Check your inbox." That night, I took action. I pulled back every cent and shut off her access to everything tied to my finances. By the next morning, Sophie had 2 emails waiting for her. One came from me, and the other was from my attorney. At first, I seriously believed I'd used the wrong card. But Sophie just laughed like she hadn't just wiped out $11,000 of my money. I mean, she laughed. I sat there, staring at the bank app on my phone, saying the number out loud, $11,000, as if speaking it might help me process it. Meanwhile, Sophie kicked off her sandals and dropped onto my couch like she owned the place. "Don't be so uptight," she said, brushing it off like it was nothing. "Just a mix-up. The bank will sort it out." I didn't say a word. I just watched her help herself to the takeout I'd paid for, again, while she scrolled through photos of her brand new ride. A black BMW X5 with red leather seats. She just posted it with the caption, "Work hard. Reward yourself." Except the joke is she hasn't worked a single day since quitting her job last year. She left that job to focus on her wellness journey. And who was picking up the slack since then? That would be me. I'd been covering her rent, buying her groceries, paying her bills, all so she could get back on her feet. Then Mom sent another text, "Relax." She just clicked the wrong account. "It happens," she wrote. Clicked the wrong account. Clicked the wrong account? That deep into my savings? 11 grand? I stood up without saying a word, walked past Sophie, and grabbed my laptop off the kitchen counter. She didn't even look up. "You know what's funny?" I said calmly. "What?" she asked with her mouth full. "Check your inbox tomorrow," I replied, logging into my bank. "There's something waiting for you." That night, I didn't waste time. I reversed every single transfer. Froze every joint account. Canceled every card that had my name on it. Shut down every single auto payment I'd set up for her temporary situation. And by morning, sure enough, she got 2 emails. One from me, the other from my lawyer. You don't wake up one morning and suddenly realize your family's been leeching off you for years. It builds up slowly, layer by layer. Quiet at first. It's like drinking poison in tiny sips. You get used to the taste. Until one day, your heart stops and you're still smiling like nothing's wrong. My sister Sophie? She's always been the storm. And I was the cleanup crew. Back when we were teens, I was the one who fixed things. If she crashed Dad's car, I called the tow truck. If she overdrew her account, I moved my money around to bail her out. When she quit her job because her manager killed her aura, I paid her rent. Not once. Not twice. 9 straight months. And every single time, she'd mumble a quick, "Thanks," barely looking up from her phone, too busy filming another story about self-care and chakra alignment. She's 31 now. A grown adult, still living like her life is a Pinterest vision board. Her latest persona? A lifestyle alchemist. Whatever that even means. And me? I'm 34. I work in finance. I paid my way through college bartending until 3 a.m. Built my portfolio from zero. Dug myself out of debt one paycheck at a time. And I finally managed to save enough for my first investment, a little 1-bedroom fixer-upper downtown. It was supposed to be my retirement plan. So guess who asked to crash there just for a few months while she figures stuff out? Well, she didn't ask. Mom did. Over brunch. "You've always been the reliable one," she said sweetly, like she was complimenting me, while buttering her toast and setting me up for a guilt trip. Sophie just needs some time to reset. She's been through so much. To reset from what? I asked. She hasn't worked in 15 months. Exactly, Mom said, like I'd made her point for her. So I gave in. I let Sophie move in, just for 30 days. She stayed 11 months. In that time, she had exactly one job, dog walking. She lasted 3 days. She maxed out my Wi-Fi streaming those bizarre meditation seminars. killed my favorite monstera plant by watering it with moon water. And she racked up $743 in Amazon purchases using my Echo, without asking. When I confronted her with the invoice, she just shrugged. "Oh, I thought it was still on my card," she said. That same line, every time. "I thought it was my card. I thought it was your spare room. I thought it was fine." And I let it slide. Over and over. Because deep down, I kept hoping, maybe this time she'd appreciate it. Maybe this time Mom would finally recognize that I was the one holding everything together while everyone else spiraled. But nope. Every time I brought it up, Mom would give me that look. "You know the one. That you're overreacting smile. Don't be dramatic," she'd say. "You're just tired from work. Your sister needs support." Funny how support always looked like me bleeding cash while Sophie burned sage and napped till noon. And then came the insurance thing. Sophie burst into the kitchen one night, barefoot, waving a letter like it was some kind of celebration. "Guess what?" she said. "My health insurance lapsed." I froze mid-dishwashing. "And that's good news? How?" "Because I remembered I'm still listed on your policy, from when we were both on Mom's." "No," I said. "You're not." "Well, I called and they said your name came up." "Isn't that great?" My stomach dropped. Turned out, Sophie had somehow revived a long-dead dependent ID using my information and racked up $2,100 in claims. For acupuncture. And for a colonic. I was furious. Absolutely livid. And what did Sophie say? "Well, you always told me to take care of my health. I thought you'd be proud." Proud? Proud of insurance fraud? That was the moment I lost it, completely. I raised my voice, slammed my laptop shut, and told her she had 1 week to get out. She burst into tears, then called Mom. Not even an hour later, they were both standing on my porch like they were staging some kind of intervention. "You're being cruel," Mom said, her arms folded. "Sophie's always been more sensitive than you." "She committed fraud," I said flatly. "It's just insurance," Sophie said with a sniffle. I wasn't feeling well, emotionally. "And the worst part?" Mom nodded, like that explained everything. I half expected her to pull out a tissue, hand it to me, and say, "Now apologize to your sister." Instead, she stared at me and said, "You've gotten so cold lately. You never used to be like this." I wanted to ask, before what? Before I emptied my savings bailing Sophie out of 3 leases? Before I paid off Mom's credit card without even getting a thank you text? Before I became the walking ATM for 2 grown adults who think boundaries are just toxic masculinity in disguise? Then came the final blow. That $11,000 she took. The money I'd spent years saving, gone in the time it takes to cook dinner. That account wasn't even visible in the banking app unless you manually added it. And she did exactly that. She added it. Transferred 11 grand into her checking account. And bought a car. Not just any car. A luxury SUV. So when I brought it up, sitting across from her in my own kitchen while she sipped an $8 kombucha I paid for, she just looked up and said, "Oh, that. I thought it was my card." Like I'd asked about the laundry or something. Then, of course, Mom had to jump in. "Relax," she said. "She just clicked the wrong account." Clicked the wrong account? $11,000? With a single click? That's when something inside me finally shut off. Not anger. Not frustration. Something colder. I stared them both down and said, calm as ever, "Watch your inbox." That was the moment I stopped being their lifeline and started being their reckoning. People always imagine revenge as some big dramatic scene, yelling and slammed doors. But sometimes it's quiet. Calculated. It's a timestamp in an email and a lawyer's name copied on the thread. Let's rewind a bit. That night, after the money vanished, I didn't sleep. Not because I was sad. Because I was getting to work. At 2:12 a.m. on the dot, I finished putting together a 12-page PDF, every single financial transaction Sophie had made using any of my accounts. Every Venmo. Every Zelle. Each Apple Pay ping. Even that $89 Sephora charge she claimed was a Mother's Day gift. I attached the file to 2 emails. One for Sophie. The other for my lawyer, Marcus Gray. The same guy who once helped a buddy of mine recover $60,000 from a shady business partner in under 3 weeks. Subject line: unauthorized transactions. Formal action pending. Then I closed my laptop and slept better than I had in months. By 7 a.m., my phone was lighting up like a Christmas tree. Sophie, WF is this? Then, you're seriously lawyering up? Over family? Then Mom called. Have you lost your mind? She snapped. A lawsuit? Against your own sister? It's not a lawsuit, Mom. Just a demand letter. You're threatening her. I'm protecting myself. Something you never managed to do. Silence. Then came the guilt trip. She's fragile. She made a mistake. You're being cruel. I didn't budge. Read the letter, I said. Every line. Every lie. Every cent. I don't need to see it. You do. Because you're next. That made her pause. What? You enabled all of this. And your name is still listed on 2 of the accounts she used. Jointly. Another silence. This one longer. Then her voice cracked. You wouldn't. I didn't answer. I just ended the call. By noon, Sophie showed up. Wearing leggings and sunglasses like this was some brunch outing and not the beginning of legal warfare. She didn't knock. Just banged on the door twice and yelled, "Open up. I know you're home." I opened the door slowly. No yelling. Just calm. She barged in like I was her personal doorman. Headed straight to the kitchen. Okay, what the hell is this? She snapped, holding up her phone. You're threatening me with criminal charges now? It's not a threat, I said. It's a request. Return the funds, with interest. Or Marcus files Monday morning. She scoffed. You're bluffing. Check your email again. She opened it. Her face dropped when she saw Marcus's address in the CC line. Wait, you actually hired a lawyer? Yep. For 11 grand? No, I said, stepping forward. For every dollar you've taken over the past 3 years. Her jaw literally dropped. That totals $28,349.74, I added. With interest. You've got to be kidding. I've never been more serious. She tried to spin it, like she always did. But we're family. You're my brother. We're supposed to support each other. You said that last year when I was broke. I didn't know you were struggling. I was. I just didn't post beach selfies about it. Her eyes started to well up. I didn't fall for it. Oh my God, she said, trying the victim routine. You actually want me on the streets? No, I said. I just want you to finally face consequences. And that's when she exploded. You're just jealous, she shouted. You always have been. Oh, you're just jealous, she yelled. Jealous that Mom loves me more. That I'm free. That I don't have to hide behind some boring job in a boring condo like a coward. I almost laughed out loud. Free. I repeated, leaning on the counter. You're not free, you're funded. You're a grifter in yoga pants. She slammed her palm on the countertop. I'm telling Mom you're trying to ruin my life. Go for it, I said, reaching into a folder on the table. I handed her a printed copy of the report. Send her the receipts while you're at it. She stared at the stack of paper, page after page of transactions, dates, proof. Her eyes skimmed the numbers. The digital trail she'd left behind. You're sick, she muttered. No, I said, looking her dead in the eyes. I'm just finally done. And then came the moment I'd been waiting for. I pulled out another envelope, this one sealed and addressed with her full name, Sophie Langston. What the hell is this? She sneered. I smiled. It's from the bank. A formal notice. A notice of what? You've officially been removed from everything. No more joint access. No backup contact. No ties to my accounts. You're cut off, completely. Her hands started to tremble. You actually cut me off. No, I said. I removed the leech. She stormed out, slamming the door behind her. And I thought that was the end of it. But I was wrong. Later that day, around 5 p.m., I got a call. Not from Mom. From Aunt Linda. Hey, sweetheart, she said in that soft voice of hers. Just wanted to say, good for you. I froze. You heard? Of course I did. Your mom's been blowing up everyone's phone with her version of the story. She paused. But here's the funny part. She accidentally sent the report to Uncle Ray. My jaw nearly hit the floor. Now half the family's texting me, she added. Most of us are behind you. We've all seen what Sophie's like. Heck, she still owes me $600 from that wellness she roped me into last year. I actually laughed. For the first time in days. Linda cleared her throat. I just wanted you to know, you're not the crazy one. And you're not alone. For the first time in what felt like forever, I actually believed that. I'd braced myself for backlash. What I didn't expect was silence. Heavy, hollow silence. No apologies. No real conversations. Just digital ghosts where my family used to be. After Sophie stormed out, Mom didn't call for 3 full days. Which, in our household, was unheard of. She used to text me hourly if I didn't reply in 5 minutes. When she finally did reach out, it was a long paragraph that opened with, "I'm disappointed in you," and ended with, "This isn't what family does." I didn't answer. What was the point? Should I have written back, "I'm disappointed too"? That I'd spent 10 years being a walking ATM and emotional punching bag for 2 women who treated me more like a wallet than a human? She didn't ask how I was doing. Didn't ask if I'd gotten the money back. Didn't ask if I was okay. Just more guilt. More manipulation. More, "How could you do this to us?" That word used to feel like home. Now it felt like a noose. Meanwhile, Sophie went nuclear on social media. Her Instagram turned into a shrine of passive-aggressive quotes. Blood makes you related. Loyalty makes you family. Some people only love you when you're useful. Cutting toxic energy, one relative at a time. She even posted a reel of herself fake crying, staring into the camera while talking about betrayal from the one person she trusted most. And the comments? Her followers ate it up. "You don't deserve this, queen." Sending love and light. "He's clearly jealous of your journey." Jealous? What? Of overdraft fees? Lies? 30-something freeloading masquerading as spiritual healing? I didn't respond. Didn't post a thing. Didn't engage. I didn't have to. Because I had the one thing she feared most, proof. Boundaries. And silence. And the thing about silence? It speaks louder than any rant ever could. Even at work, people started noticing. "Did you get a haircut?" one of my coworkers asked. "No," I said, smiling. "Just got myself some boundaries." The stress? Gone. I was sleeping again. For the first time in forever, I wasn't compulsively checking my bank accounts. And I finally did something for myself. I took a vacation, my first in 4 years. 3 peaceful days in the mountains. No Wi-Fi. No Sophie. And then it happened. 3 weeks later, I got a call from an unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. It was Mom. Her voice was shaky. Not angry. Just unsure. "Hi, sweetheart," she began carefully. I think we need to talk. Things got a little out of hand." She took a breath. "Your sister?" "No, she's struggling. She lost the car. Missed payments. It got repossessed. And now she's blaming you." "Of course she is. She says she wouldn't be in this mess if you hadn't gone full corporate shark on her." I paused the message. Took a sip of my coffee. Hit play again. "I know things were said, but can we just sit down? As a family? Just talk." I laughed quietly to myself. She still didn't get it. This wasn't about "things were said." This was about years. Years of being ignored, drained, and dismissed. Of being gaslit under the banner of family love. She was only calling now because the money had dried up. Because Sophie was spiraling, again, and needed a fresh lifeline. And this time, I wasn't going to be it. So I texted back one sentence. "I wish you both well. But I'm done playing the bank." No reply. A week passed. Then another. And then I heard a knock on the door. It was Sophie. No makeup. No filter. No posing. No polished version of herself. She stood there in baggy sweatpants, frizzed-out hair, and a desperate little smile. "Hey," she said like we were old friends and nothing had happened. "Can we talk?" I didn't move. Just looked at her. I was wrong, she blurted. Okay? Is that what you need to hear? I messed up. Big time. I know that now. I stayed silent. She shifted on her feet, glancing past me like she was hoping for an invite inside. I'm kind of between places at the moment. Just for a few days, maybe? No, I said. She blinked. What? No, I repeated. Not for a few days. Not for a night. Not even for an hour. Her jaw dropped. Like it had never even crossed her mind that I might say no. You're seriously just gonna let me sleep in my car? She asked. Did you ask me before you cleaned out my savings? That was different. No, I said firmly. It was exactly the same. You made your choices, Sophie. Now it's time to live with them. You're cold, she snapped. I gave a small nod. Finally. She turned away, walked a few steps, then stopped and looked back one more time. You're going to regret this. I smiled. Already do. Every time I didn't say no sooner. She left. And this time, I locked the door behind her. People always think closure looks like a heart-to-heart. Maybe a long hug or a deep, healing conversation. But it doesn't. Sometimes, closure is as simple as a locked door. A bank account with only your name on it. An inbox with 0 unread messages from your mother. It's the quiet. The finality. A few days after Sophie stormed out for good, I got a letter in the mail. From our old credit union. It was one of those savings accounts we'd set up years ago, for emergencies, back when I still believed we were some kind of team. Inside was a check. $273.41. The last of it. She drained the rest months ago, probably on moon crystals and overpriced kombucha. But because I'd filed a request to have her removed as co-owner, the system auto-closed the account and mailed me the leftovers. I laughed out loud. Not because of the amount, because of what it symbolized. The check? That was the final summary of our relationship. $273 and some change. I pinned it to my fridge as a reminder. This is what happens when you give everything and ask for nothing. And then, I finally let go. Not the kind where you pretend to move on while still secretly waiting for an apology that never comes. The real kind. I deleted Sophie's number. Blocked Mom's. Told my bank to flag any future requests from either of them, financial or otherwise. Updated my emergency contact to my best friend Ryan, the same guy who once drove through a snowstorm just to help me unclog my sink and never asked for a thing in return. I even reconnected with my cousin Becca, the one they cut out of family holidays for being too honest. Turns out, she'd seen through their act years ago and just walked away quietly. You finally joined the Freedom Club, she said after I told her everything. Took you long enough. Yeah, I said. It did. But I was here now. And for the first time in my adult life, I wasn't anxious about who might be calling next. I wasn't bracing for the next urgent favor. The next guilt trip. I wasn't carrying someone else's chaos on my back anymore. I was free. One night, I was sitting on my balcony with a glass of bourbon in hand, no fires to put out, no emergencies to handle. And then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Voicemail. I didn't answer. I just let it play. It was Sophie. Her voice was different. Softer. Almost thrilled. I know you probably won't even listen to this, she said. But I just wanted to say, I get it now. I finally see what I did. What I took from you. Not just the money. The space. The calm. The peace. I took and called it love. I was wrong. She paused. I'm not asking for anything. I just wanted to say that. Goodbye. I sat there for a moment, letting the silence settle. Then I deleted the message. Not out of anger, but because I didn't need it anymore. My closure didn't come from her voice. It came from my own strength. I'd rebuilt my life. Shielded it. Stood up for it. And finally, I'd taken it back. So here's what I learned. You can't heal in the house where you got sick. You can't grow while standing in the shadow of people who only recognize the version of you they could control. And you sure as hell can't build a future if you're stuck paying for someone else's past. I'm not the villain in their story anymore. Because I'm no longer in their story at all. And you know what? That's the happiest ending I've ever had.